Hello and welcome to Dialectable. My name's Joe and I'm making videos about accents and dialects of English. Now in my last video I talked a bit about how a dialect called multicultural London English had been pushing one called Cockney out of London in recent decades, but I didn't actually say anything about Cockney because I was saving it for this video. If you live in the English-speaking world, and honestly even if you don't, you've almost certainly heard Cockney in films and on TV being spoken by people being portrayed as working class, and with all the socio-political implications that comes with. This is because, as I said last time, Cockney was the sociolect of working class people from the UK's capital for most of the 20th century, and so it had a lot of exposure. If you wanted your character to sound both British and working class, Cockney was the obvious choice of accent to give them. Think Alan Ford from Snatch.
Then I hear the best thing to do is feed them to pigs.
James Corden from Gavin and Stacey.
Lamb booner, prawn booner, mushroom rice, bag of chips, key banana and 9 poppadoms.
And definitely not Dick van Dyke from Mary Poppins.
All right, ladies and gents, comical poem, suitable for the occasion, extemporised and thought up before your very eyes. All right, here we go.
The traditional definition of a Cockney was somebody who was born within hearing distance of the bells of Bow Church in the City of London, but in practice it came to mean a working class person who had the accent and was from East London, which is where it probably emerged. Recently though, the accent has been falling out of favour and is being replaced by MLE, but it does still exist amongst mostly middle-aged and older working class Londoners and young people living in the counties surrounding London, with the highest numbers nowadays being in Essex. Although MLE, the modern-day working class dialect of London, which my last video was about, was heavily influenced by Cockney and shares a lot of the same features. These include L-vocalisation and T-glottalisation, as well as non-rhoticity, the Bath trap split and TH fronting, and if you don't know what those last three mean, go and watch my first video. Another feature affecting the consonants of Cockney that hasn't been passed into MLE has to do with not releasing the intervocalic unvoiced plosives, and if you don't know what that means, fair enough. So when saying the p, t and k sounds that occur between vowels, Cockney speakers tend not to release the air they've been building up in their vocal tract, instead going straight into the following vowel once the right parts of their mouths are touching. So where I might call somebody a proper picky eater, releasing the air after the consonant in the second syllable, a Cockney speaker might say something like proper picky eater, or where in standard English this man's first name is
Martin.
A Cockney speaker might say it was
Martin.
Lots of the vowels of Cockney are also very distinct from both MLE and the more standard English I speak, particularly the diphthongs. Pause for a definition. So where I would say may, my, mo, boy and down, a Cockney speaker would say something like may, my, mo, boy and dan, with that last one not even being a diphthong but one continuous vowel, dan. One of the most notable grammatical features of Cockney is probably use of the word ain't, which is a pretty versatile negation. It can replace all negative contractions of both to be and to have. So where standard English has am not, isn't, aren't, hasn't and haven't, Cockney can replace them all with ain't. I ain't going to his, he ain't got no food. That last sentence is a good example of H dropping, which is where Cockneys tend to skip the H's at the start of words, but it's also a good example of double negatives. So while I'd say, I don't have any friends, a Cockney speaker would often say, I don't have no friends, which is similar to the way it's done in Romance and Slavic languages. On to vocab now, and possibly the most famous aspect of any dialect in Britain, Cockney rhyming slang. Now there's 1,000,001 videos on YouTube going over examples of Cockney rhyming slang, so I won't list too many words here, but what I will say is that what most often you'll hear when hearing rhyming slang in the street is not the portion that actually rhymes. If you want to call someone your mate in rhyming slang, you'll take the whole rhyming phrase, in this case china plate, and knock off the actual rhyming word plate, leaving you with just china. This sort of thing is how barnet came to mean hair across pretty much the whole country. It's a contraction of the rhyming slang barnet fair. Similar things have happened to butchers, bottle and Hampsteads as well. So I hope that's given you a little bit of extra insight into a dialect you were probably already pretty familiar with. Next time I'll be leaving the cosy confines of London and heading up to the extreme north. There be Geordies. See you then.